What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's Thursday today, right? I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the internet at all today, but what is going on? Apparently, there was an incident at a Jewish synagogue in Michigan. What is going on? We got anybody in here that thinks that this is a false flag? We got any false flag people here? Any false flaggers in the audience? Oh man, we are going to cover so much stuff, and I'm going to try to do it inside of like 2.5 hours. I know Candace is going live at like 4:30 or something like that. I don't know if I really want to watch Candace Owens. I think the topic of the video is like what happened behind Charlie Kirk or something. So I don't know. We'll see. But it looks like Ben Shapiro kind of came out and went off on Megyn Kelly and Pierce Morgan a little bit. Have not watched that yet. Should be interesting. Ben, I will say this, Ben Shapiro never disappoints. Ben Shapiro never disappoints. I don't know what the latest reporting is on this this active shooter or whatever was going on. Were there any casualties? Like I've heard some people say that there wasn't even anybody there. But I'm not sure. And then I think I know that who was it? Blake Neff and Colvette were on the Megyn Kelly show. So we might take a look at that. I kind of want to get a read on Megyn Kelly and how she was talking to them and what they were talking about to get an idea. Nikki 5690 says, I'm not up to date on it. I didn't hear any casualties. I haven't heard of any casualties yet. Cloudy PDX, from what I understand, there were kids there, but thankfully no injuries. Audrey Unfiltered, he drove his car into the building and it caught fire. All right, well let's jump into this and see if we can get like current stuff with it, because all I have is from a couple of hours ago. And I think Artie did a video on this. I don't know if he has any new information or not, but we will check. We will check and see. The synagogue is in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Okay, so here's like initial reporting
at Temple, Israel, and they say a major scene was reported there. If you're familiar with the area, this is located on Walnut Lake Road. So a live look there thanks to our Fox 2 Detroit helicopter, as we see that there is some smoke there from a building, and that seems to be where the helicopter is concentrating this live look. It's a little hard to tell, but we do see that emergency responders are surrounding this building. According to Fox 2 Detroit, there is a threat underway at Temple, Israel there in Michigan. So at Temple, Israel, and they
Audrey Unfiltered says, I think the guy who did it might have died, but I'm not 100% sure. I believe they got him. Here's why I'm bringing up the false flag thing. What is going on? So Phoenix Ammunition posted this. So the Muslim terror cells we were just warned about sent one guy to attack a location that was used for active shooter training less than 2 months ago. And then he posts this from FBI Detroit from January 30th. FBI Detroit led an active shooter attack prevention and preparedness training for the clergy and staff of Temple, Israel in West Bloomfield. The FBI course combines lessons learned from years of research and employs scenario-based exercises to help participants practice. So I mean that could just be coincidence, right? Like the fact that they posted that to their social media seems a little interesting. Do they do that with every place that they go and help people prepare for active shooter situations? I don't know. But that's one heck of a coincidence that they were specifically at that location preparing for an active shooter situation. And then just a few months later, there's an active shooter. So Matt Tardio has a little different opinion on this. Matt Tardio says the problem is obvious. Temple Israel in West Bloomfield is one of the largest synagogues in the United States and is widely described as the largest Reform synagogue in North America, with roughly 12,000 members and about 3,500 families. The FBI conducted active shooter training for the security staff a few weeks ago. This shouldn't be a shocker. This location is an obvious target. Okay, so he's bringing some logic to this. Today it was attacked. I don't need the media to inform me who the attacker were. The attackers had multiple explosive devices and were firing through the door as it was being rammed and wanted to kill his man. Were there multiple? I'm not sure if there were multiple. I've only heard that there was one. And apparently they had explosive devices and were firing through the door as it was being rammed. After you learned about the FBI training and your immediate thought was this was a false flag and not the obvious radical Islam, you need to do some serious soul searching. Stop watching Tucker and Candace. It's rotting your brain. By the way, did you hear about the shooting at Old Dominion University today? 2 ROTC members were killed and a third wounded when a confirmed ISIS supporting radical Islamist opened fire. All right, well, I glanced at this. I did not read this until the end. No, I have not heard about the Old Dominion University shooting. Is anybody even reporting on that? Nick Sorter. Breaking. The shooter at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia today is reportedly Mohammed Jalal, a former Army National Guardsman arrested in 2016 for providing material support to ISIS. Did you guys hear about this? I had no idea that this was going on. FBI Director Kash Patel. Earlier today, an armed individual opened fire at Old Dominion University, leaving one person dead and 2 others wounded. The shooter is now deceased thanks to a group of brave students who stepped in and subdued him. Actions that undoubtedly saved lives along with the quick response of law enforcement. The FBI is now investigating the shooting as an act of terrorism. Our Joint Terrorism Task Force is fully engaged, embedded with local authorities and providing all resources necessary in the investigation. In the meantime, please pray for the victims, their families, and the ODU community. Okay, so we've got 2 potential Islamic terrorist events today. After Trump just came out, what was it, yesterday? Trump came out and said that that they're pretty sure they're aware of where all these like potential cells are in the United States and that they're being watched very carefully. What's a false flag? Please ignore my ignorance. Okay, so a false flag is basically the government or somebody doing something to make it look like somebody else did it in order to get people to get behind a specific agenda, right? So for example, okay, there's a lot of people that are very anti-Israel and anti-Jew. Okay, so the idea of a false flag is that Israel or the government perpetrated this incident at the synagogue on themselves to make it look like Islamic terrorists did it in order to gain favor from people. Does that make sense? That would be a false flag. So that way they can use this to further the war efforts maybe in Iran, to say, oh, look, this is what Islam is all about. So we definitely need to continue our current agenda in the Middle East and take care of these people. I'm not saying that I believe this one way or the other. I'm just trying to give you an example of what a false flag is and why perhaps a false flag would be done. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if these people are doing this in some form of retaliation for what we're doing over in Iran. But it also, I also wouldn't put it past our government to conduct some type of false flag operation like this. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle on that, to be honest with you. I lean towards, it's a lot of Jew hate going on right now. A lot of Jew hate going on. And I think a lot of people would be, what's the word? I don't know if I would say supportive of this, but they would be, well, I mean, they'll just come out and say that it was a false flag. And you'll see that. People will just lean heavily into this was a false flag attack. And you're mostly going to hear that parroted by people who are very, very, very anti-Israel. Genuine says, terrifying points. Dude was in our military, was prosecuted for helping ISIS, and was released from prison. The Dominion dude? Or is this just a different guy? Marlboro Light 100 says, I'm not a Jew, by the way. Okay. I'm guessing you were talking to somebody else in the chat. Miss Me Cat. I mean, there's more pushback now in Islam. I mean, there's gonna be. There is gonna be. Did you guys see that the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, had not really sure. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I just know that I don't believe it was AI, but I'm pretty sure I saw Muslims in wherever they were at praying while they're doing, I thought the Dems were all against or all for separation of church and state. Seems a little bit hypocritical. I mean, unless they're just against Christianity and the state. And every other religion is fine. Well, not every other. Just Islam. Miss Me Cat. We're going to see more of this, unfortunately, due to what happened in Iran. And Mamdani is a Muslim, so New York City is cooked. Yeah, it's not a good look. They have full on elected basically like a radical. I mean, I don't know if he's radical, but he's basically a Muslim communist in New York City. It's sure looks like an attempted takeover to me. Maybe that's bigoted of me or whatever the term would be, but sure what it looks like. All right, let's get into this Ben Shapiro clip here.
Josh says, quote, Dear Ben, I've been watching a lot of your adversarial interviews lately, and I've noticed that once they run out of arguments, they always fall back on the Israel issue. Yeah, I noticed that too. I noticed this especially in Megyn Kelly's defense of Tucker Carlson, where she claimed that your issue with him and recently her all boiled down to Israel, which I believe is an incorrect characterization. They just find it convenient to blame Israel instead of facing the actual points you are making. My question is, how do you deal with people like this? People that anytime you disagree with them, just say the reason you disagree with them is because of Israel. I like the way Matt Walsh said it, people that are Israel first, but from the opposite direction, meaning the first thing they care about is being anti-Israel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So yes, they're lying. Megyn is lying and so is Tucker. I mean, period. They're just lying. Okay. I started originally criticizing Tucker Carlson for his economic programs back in 2018. And then in the more modern post-Fox iteration of Tucker, I started criticizing Tucker over his going to Russia to sniff the bread and kiss Vladimir Putin's ass. My generalized critique of Tucker in the last few months has been, one, he hosted and glossed a Nazi, Nick Fuentes, which doesn't have to do with Israel. It has to do with glazing a Nazi, Nick Fuentes. And then I did a speech at Heritage in which I went through the fact that Tucker Carlson is in no way, shape, or form a traditional conservative, that he is a conspiratorial near anarchist at this point.
So Tucker had Nick Fuentes on his show. And I don't know how much attention you guys pay to Nick Fuentes or not, but like, according to Nick Fuentes, after he did Tucker's show, Tucker like basically went out and kind of talked shit about him. And Nick Fuentes, from my understanding, was like, you were so nice to me when we were in person, and then you didn't bring up any of these apparent issues that you had with me while we were doing your show, which you totally could have. And then, so he's basically told Tucker to F off. So I don't know if Tucker was necessarily glazing Nick Fuentes. That might be a little exaggerated on Shapiro's part, unless I missed something completely. Hotbox Slayer, I feel like Fuentes is a bigger troll more than a true Nazi. Yeah, he's not. I don't know that I would classify Nick Fuentes as a Nazi. He's just a, say the craziest shit and people will listen. But whether or not he believes, like, no. Audrey Unfiltered, as he always does, he's fine to their face and then he talks shit to the next person about him. You go, yeah, but he did it like publicly. Yeah. Yeah, Tucker is he's an interesting character, that's for sure. Tucker talked crap after he got so much backlash for having him on. You think that's what it was? You think he was like just trying to save his face a little bit? Kevin's comment, it was a softball interview. It was. It wasn't. It was actually disappointing because he could have really challenged Nick Fuentes. And it was almost like Tucker was like scared to. Audrey Unfiltered, definitely glazed during the interview. You think so? I don't know. I didn't think it. It didn't come across as like he glazed Nick. I feel like he was just afraid of, which makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't want to debate Nick Fuentes either, but it just seemed like he was timid.
Seeking to tear down the fundamental ideas and institutions of the United States. Go watch the Heritage speech. I believe Israel is mentioned once in a 35-minute speech that is all about Tucker's general view of the world and how it does not represent traditional conservatism in any way. Megyn is even more dishonest. I've literally never, not once, mentioned Megyn Kelly, never, in the context of Israel. Ever. My critique of Megyn Kelly began when, and again, go back and watch the tape because it's all on tape, gang. Go back and watch the tape.
How many quote unquote conservatives do you think actually represent true conservatism? Just out of curiosity. Because we didn't win all of these elections on the right because of true conservatism. We can all be honest about that, right? That is not why we won all of these elections. A large reason we won the elections are because of Donald Trump, but another really large reason is just because of how absolutely insane the left has gone. So I'm not even really sure like how many like true conservatives there are, even as politicians anymore. Audrey Unfiltered. Just by the way, it's fine, but it's pronounced Audrey. Idri? Adri? Come on. I'm too stupid for this. Adri. I'm just going to say Adri. If that's wrong, correct me again. So Floor 1234. Megan is extremely annoying. Well, we're going to find out.
Megan wanted me to come and do one of her live events, which we did for free, obviously.
Jennifer, Veterans for Truth. Out of the top influencers, 10%? You think 10% of them are like true conservatives? I don't even know if it's that high.
It came down as a favor to Megan because Megan and I were friendly. And of course, we'd had a long-standing business relationship in which we had really, really helped her launch her business, which she freely admits or admitted at the time. I don't know if she does anymore. She used to have me on her Fox News show sometimes. Now I see she's taking credit for my entire career. Well, congrats, Megan, I suppose. And see if you're happy about your decisions. I disagree about my career trajectory, but that's fine. If you want to take credit, sure. In any case, my critique of Megan on the stage was, why don't you call out Candace Owens for implicating Erika Kirk in the murder of Charlie Kirk? That was my critique on the stage. And why don't you call out Tucker Carlson for glazing Nick Fuentes, the leading enemy of Charlie Kirk? Because Nick Fuentes hated, despised Charlie Kirk, and the feeling was mutual. That was my critique of Megan. And then she went on to claim that I was lying about Candace, and that actually Candace was even, quote unquote, defending, in her own way, Erika Kirk. Well, that didn't age amazing, as it turns out. And then at TPUSA, I called out Candace and Tucker for refusing to call.
Yeah, that did not age well at all for Megyn Kelly. Not at all.
Call out Candace Owens for what she had been doing to Erika Kirk, for refusing to tell the truth on issues and instead programming toward the clicks, for their unique cowardice in making conspiratorial claims without evidence about, say, Jeffrey Epstein and President Trump. I did not mention Israel one time in the TPUSA speech. 0 is the number of times I mentioned Israel. So here's what's actually happening. What's actually happening is that there is a game that has now emerged on this part of the right. The game goes something like this. I don't accuse you of anti-Semitism. You instead claim that I did. And then you say, how dare he call me an anti-Semite? He's trying to cancel me. It's the Jussie Smollett of political claims. You attack yourself, and then you claim that I attacked you as an anti-Semite. That's absurd. I think that Tucker Carlson has fostered anti-Semitism by having on some of the worst anti-Semites in America over and over and over, and then essentially laundering their views. I have never remotely called Megyn Kelly an anti-Semite, nor, by the way, did I call Piers Morgan an anti-Semite. I said that his show is the Jerry Springer of politics, a clown car of stupidity, and it is. That's all.
I mean, he's not wrong about Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan's show is entertaining, but he's not wrong about it.
Literally all. I didn't say that he should be taken down. I didn't say that people should stop watching his show if they want to. I said I did not wish to appear in the clown car of stupidity, which seems to me an aspect of free speech. I don't have to associate with Piers' dumb show. I mean, lots of people like it. Good for him. And Piers measures his morality by clicks, and so I assume he sleeps fine at night. That's fine. That's his prerogative. It's a free country.
Ooh.
But let's be real. The tactic that is currently being used by all of these figures is a preemptive claim that people are calling you anti-Semitic. And then they say, and I'm not anti-Semitic. Really, they're just mad at me because of Israel. So it's a two-step, none of which is true. I didn't call Megan anti-Semitic. I didn't call Piers anti-Semitic. I didn't even critique Megan on her Israel position. In fact, Megan and I have had many conversations off the air about Israel and the situation in the Middle East, in which I have said to her that I think that many of her critics over her policies on Israel up till now were wrong and misguided. In fact, I said that on her own show. But again, honesty is not a top priority for many of these people. The grift is the priority. The clicks are the priority.
He said it. He said it. He said it. Miss Me Cat. Ben told Megan he should call out Conspiracy for all the slander against Erika. That's what he said, but Megan spun it. Yeah, of course she spun it. Of course she spun it. It's what these people do. Nikki 5690, the grift. The grift. Adrian Filter, did anyone see Pierce's reaction to Dave Rubin? I like briefly looked at it, but I don't recall like off the top of my head. I think he was like, I thought Dave and I were friends and he's a weasel, something, something, something. Something along those lines. Or was that, did he uninvite Dave Rubin or was that Ben Shapiro? I forget. But somebody was like, I'm not going to do your show. And then he was like, you can't. You're not allowed. Like, I won't have you on my show. I was like, no, I just said I'm not going to do your show. Jenny Kenny, so glad he covered this because I've been saying it for a while and no one listened. Mama Owlbear, I loved Ben Shapiro's take. Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and now Pierce Morgan are just being big babies and twisting it for their audiences. Well, Pierce knows it's going to get him views. So. But Pierce is like I don't know how often or how long you guys have really paid attention to Pierce Morgan, but he's whatever. You know what I mean? He's a middle of the road. He's Pierce. It is what it is. I don't expect like high moral standards from Pierce Morgan. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. Adri Unfiltered. Dave Rubin told him he wouldn't do his show. So yeah, Pierce told him he wasn't going to let him back on. Okay, I couldn't remember if that was Ben or if it was Rubin, but I knew it was one of the two. Yeah. Jennifer Veterans for Truth was demonetized for, say, far less controversial things than they have, yet they are still here. It makes me believe they are all frauds. Oh, okay. I got you. So you're saying you were demonetized for saying far less controversial stuff, and these people who say all kinds of crazy stuff are still doing just fine. Well, it probably has to do with I don't how many subs you had, how many views you were getting as opposed to these people, and who knows how all this backdoor stuff works with YouTube. Eclectic journalist. The clicks are priority. They absolutely are. Absolutely are. Their business is their number one priority. Because it's just never enough for these people. Millions and millions of dollars. But that ego just won't let them be completely honest. Nikki 5690. Piers seems wishy-washy as heck. I don't even know what his views are. Yeah, that's Pierce Morgan. It's kind of how he's always been, except for the Second Amendment. He's very anti-Second Amendment. Of course, now he's probably like, well, I'm not. I'm sure he'll have some excuse as to how he's not so much against the Second Amendment anymore, but I remember him saying all kinds of stupid stuff when it came to the Second Amendment. Genuine. OMG, Pierce, Ben, and Megan are all shitposting each other on X right now. Megan and Pierce have been hit by the let me just be hysterical bug and pretend it's really Ben being hysterical. They look dumb. Yeah, it's kind of pathetic, really. If you think about it. These are all supposed to be like professionals and they're not at all. They're just big grown-up rich children fighting over audience. Ben, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. And like, don't get me wrong, like I'm completely fine with people, you know what I mean? Making money and putting food on their table, but integrity would be nice. It would be nice to see some with integrity. Say what you want about Ben. I don't think he wavers much. Pretty sure he's he's got his views, his stance, and kind of dug his foot in. So it would appear that Ben Shapiro has integrity. Nikki 5690, the theatrics are going wild right now among the podcasters. Yeah, there's this like, it's almost like they've got everything so stirred up. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can describe this. So everything was, let's just say everything was in order before 9/10. Okay, everything was nice and kind of in order. Everybody was getting along. We just won, a whole bunch of elections. We have control of the House, the Senate. We've got Trump back in the presidency. Everything's just in this nice order. And all of a sudden, one little piece, clearly one very big piece, was eliminated. And everything just went poof. So now there's like this frantic, chaotic, trying to like restructure itself back into something. And there's some people that want it to represent, this set of ideals. And then there's another group of people that want it to represent this set of ideals. So we're in this mixture of chaos and jealousy and rage and confusion. And out of chaos generally comes order, right? So eventually all of this will be somewhat settled. And it's just a matter of when, how, and who's going to come out on top. I don't know if I did a very good job of explaining that, but that kind of seems to me what's happening. Nikki 5690, Charlie Kirk was our bridge builder, our coalition builder, a brilliant mind that was calm, cool, and collected. Yeah. Yeah, Charlie sure seemed, that's crazy to think, right? That Charlie Kirk behind the scenes was the glue holding all of this together. And now everybody's just completely lost their shit. And that sends a really bad message to radicals who would like to unalive people, because the message that we're basically sending is it works. That's not a good message to be sending at all to these people. Like, oh, if you think they have all got their shit together and they're this strong unit and coming together and they have strong unity, take one out and see what happens. Yeah, complete chaos. Not a good message. Genuine, agreed. That's why they're mad. He stood up, they didn't. Kelly Kennedy, Bronson, my money's on Ben. I doubt it. I don't even know. Gotta get some new voices, some new faces up in there. Two goats and a dog. Hey peeps, hey Bronson. What a glorious day. It is. It is. I mean, it's a little chaotic today, but
every single word I said at that TPUSA speech. There are an enormous group of people in the commentariat, an enormous number of people in this space whose chief desire is for fame and clicks. That is what they care about. And so the principles morph over time. Now, listen, I don't think
Tracy Benna, I blame Candace. I do too. There were people just seething at this opportunity, waiting for somebody like a Candace Owens to come out and say these things so they could just, boom, go crazy. Because that's all it took. All it took was that stupid tweet from Ian Carroll and then that podcast from Candace Owens about Bibi Netanyahu. That was it. It was off to the races after that. So Fleur, Candace has definitely fanned the flames. Candace lit the match. Candace lit the match. Because think about it. Think about where Tucker was before Candace lit the match, and look where Tucker is now. This is not even the same guy. And that's just over a span of 6 months. Mama Owlbear. Anyone watch, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Nick Matau debates. He's going to be something. He defeated Sneeko in a debate, and it was beautiful. I've been following him for a while. I saw clips of the Sneeko debate. I think I'm still going to watch that and just do a video on it. I don't know how good of a video it'll be. I don't know what kind of commentary I could apply to that other than just laughing and making fun of Sneeko. But no, I haven't watched the whole thing. I do know that he was calling out Jake Paul, or not Jake Paul, Jake Shields, for basically dodging him and not wanting to debate him. That was pretty funny. And I don't think Jake Shields debates anybody. That's not, there's no way that's Jake. Jake is not, no, that would not go well for Jake to try to actually competitively debate somebody on his values. In fact, didn't Jake just do a podcast with somebody where he was like, Jesus wasn't Jewish. I just pretend like Jesus wasn't Jewish or something along those lines. Like, holy crap. I mean, I don't know. I don't, you guys tell me, how does that work? If you just decide to publicly say that, you know what, I don't believe Jesus was a Jew. Where do you suppose that, is that a sin? I'm not even sure what that is. Any religious scholars in the chat want to help me understand what the hell he's talking about? A little bit at a time. The Nick versus Sneeko debate wasn't even a debate. It was a scorched schooling from Nick. Yeah, it's not. I didn't figure it would go well for Sneeko. Sneeko doesn't do well in debates. He keeps trying though, I guess. So I'll give him that. I think Sneeko's just one big giant grifter. I'm not sure if that dude believes in anything. Two goats and a dog. So very disappointed with Tucker. Disingenuous lying man. Yeah, it sure seems like he's just going for the easy clicks now. Which sucks because there's gotta be somebody. There's gotta be somebody up there who has some integrity. If not, we need to find somebody and put him up there.
Pierce's principles ever morphed. I don't think Pierce had any principles. I think his principle was always clicks. I think that for Megyn, maybe she had principles at one point. I'm not sure anymore. Because again, this would all stop very easily if, for example, Megyn Kelly had the stone.
Jennifer, Veterans for Truth. If Jesus wasn't Jewish, then he can't be the Messiah and didn't fulfill prophecy, so it's heresy. All right.
To actually just condemn Candace Owens for what she's been doing. That's been my critique for months, and she still hasn't done it. She said she would die before she did it. That's her principle. Okay. All right. And again, as for Pierce, I'm still bewildered as to why Pierce is so pissed off. Seriously. Stop being a pissy little bitch. Seriously. It's really kind of ridiculous.
Holy crap, guys.
I said
what is
that
happening? What is happening? I think I'm starting to like Ben Shapiro. Oh, no. What is going on? I'm never going to forgive these people. For making me start to like Ben Shapiro.
Go on your show. Oh, wah. I'm sorry. I said that I think your show's Jerry Springer. That you fill up the screen with a 6-box of people, none of whom you would want to talk to in a cafe. And then you have them argue with each other and yell at each other and scream. You have Cenk Uygur with his head blowing up like a red balloon on the air. Next to Norman Finkelstein. Next to whatever kook you found on a street corner. Next to maybe one legitimate person.
Can you imagine how Ben talks when he's not trying to be somewhat politically correct or at least professionally correct? I bet it's awesome.
And then you're like, this is a solid debate. Okay, you want to do that? That's your choice, my dude. You can, but I don't understand why it's not my choice to say I don't wish to participate in your dumb show. And why that somehow represents
Dirt Bike, bro, I've been a fan of Ben Shapiro since before it became somewhat cool to not like Ben Shapiro since 2014. Did it become cool to not like Ben Shapiro, or did it become cool to not like the Jews? Because I personally have just, I mean, there's some things I disagree with, right? But I've never like gone out and like razzed on Ben Shapiro or said that I hated Ben Shapiro, or I've never done anything like that. So was it a cool thing to hate on Ben Shapiro? I mean, it seems like it's kind of a cool thing to do now. Debbie Blue 22. No, Ben is not wrong here at all. At all. Mama Owlbear. Yes, watch Ben After Dark. Is that not a subscriber to Daily Wire? Don't know that I will be. Is that a Daily Wire show that he does for subscribers only? Ben, I've actually always been a fan, personally. Is that, didn't you say you were Jewish? Is that just a Jewish thing? Just kidding. Miss Me Cat. Pierce show reminds me of the Geraldo show. I can see that. I can see that. Bella, better than Knowles at this point. Everybody's better than Knowles at this point. That guy sucks.
censorship. That is not censorship. You don't have to come on my show. I don't have to come on your show. Nobody has to go on anybody's show. And I'm not saying that people can't watch your show or that you should be deplatformed. The expansion of censorship to include, I'm not allowed to somehow criticize Megyn Kelly for her cowardice, and she's a coward. Or that I'm not allowed to criticize Piers Morgan for being a click whore, and yes, he's a click whore. Or that I'm not allowed to criticize Tucker Carlson for being a nut because he's being a nut. And that somehow these critiques amount to a campaign of cancellation or censorship. That's weird to me. One final note here. I saw that Megyn yesterday suggested that I'm in a mood to just throw people out of the conservative movement. People like Piers. Piers Morgan was never a conservative. What the hell are you talking about? My entire point at the Heritage Foundation speech that I did last December, and again, go back and listen to it, was any movement must have ideological borders. If people reflect views that are not inside those borders, they are not in the movement, and they certainly are not leaders of the movement. They can be fellow travelers. They can vote however they want. It's a free country. But the fact that Megyn is considering Piers, quote unquote, part of the conservative movement is astonishing to me because Piers holds almost zero seriously conservative positions. But, you know, I guess that they've locked arms because it's all about the clicks, baby.
It's all about the clicks. Nailed it. Ben absolutely nailed it. Dirt Bike. I've been following this stuff since 2014 like a hobby. It was around 5 to 6 years after I began consuming all of this content. After Ben left Breitbart, started the Daily Wire, and it blew up. Okay. I just assumed there was always going to be hate for Ben Shapiro because he's Jewish. The eclectic journalist, Bronson, we jumped to another timeline when Charlie died. Proof Ben being based. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would appear to me that there aren't many of these big talking heads that haven't like completely either switched up their talking points or are at least avoiding certain ones. Help me out. So far, what do we got? Ben Shapiro and Graham Allen? Cloudy PDX, the segment from 10 plus years ago of Ben versus Pierce on the Constitution 2A will always be classic. Yeah, I mean, Pierce got rolled by Jesse Ventura. Like, Pierce has always kind of sucked, but he's but that's just that's always been his character. And I don't know if Pierce has like a line. I feel like he'll platform almost anybody, which I don't know that I'm totally against. I don't like the idea of censorship. I don't like the idea of deplatforming people. I don't like the idea of not talking to people, no matter how bad their ideas are. But if you're going to have somebody with really bad, crazy ideas, like I think the right thing to do is to have at least an equal opponent to that on the show. Yeah. I can't even remember what year it was, but yeah, Jesse Ventura spanked Pierce Morgan, and then the old Alex Jones Pierce Morgan show. You try to take the gun, 1776 will commence again. Philip Tabarick DM'd you some Ben tweets. Sorry, bro. It's all right. It's all right. I think I'm slowly starting to like Ben Shapiro. I'm never going to forgive these people. Okay, let's go to this Graham Allen video. So Graham Allen, this is just a clip from his show. Title of the video is, I asked AI how to destroy MAGA. You won't believe what it said about Candace Owens.
I asked, not Chat GPT, I asked Venice AI, which is a sponsor for the show. But I asked it a very specific question. And I'm going to read this to you here step by step because what it put out was the craziest thing I've ever heard. But not crazy because it's insane, but it sounds very similar to what is going on. You see Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, their little minions, and Ian Carroll and all these people that, you know, don't matter. They say that we're paid opposition to combat them and we're trying to cancel them when we push back. So here's what I put in the prompt here. I said, if you were a foreign country that wanted to use podcasters like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson to break apart the MAGA base before the midterms and use Charlie Kirk's murder as a catalyst, how would you do it? And then I further broke it down and said, okay, with that same prompt, use what they are doing actively with the main catalyst that Israel was behind all of it and TPUSA and Erika Kirk were complicit. Now, prepare yourselves, because what happened next was actually quite shocking. Phase 1, asset cultivation and narrative seeding. Use shell companies, cryptocurrencies, and opaque third-party donors to provide significant funding to the podcast and media outlets. Like I said, Candace and Tucker, you show me your bank account, I'll show you mine. I wonder where your money's coming from. Narrative injection. Through intermediaries, introduce storylines and angles to figures like Tucker and Candace and subtly undermine pillars of the MAGA coalition. Exaggerating elitist tensions. Promote narratives like MAGA Inc. has betrayed the populist base by becoming a grifting, corporate-controlled entity. Frame it as a fight for the, quote, soul of the movement. Remember the other day, Candace said that her show was God's show. Amplify any evidence or rumor that mainstream MAGA leaders are compromised, working with the, quote, deep state, or preparing to sell out their supporters. Highlight and exaggerate policy or personal disagreements between different factors. National populists, religious conversations versus libertarian-leaning members to create a permanent fault line. Here we go. It's my favorite part. For Tucker's audience.
Adrian Filter, did anyone see Erika's post? It's heartbreaking, but very strong-worded. Erika made a post? I did not see that. When? When was the post? See if I can find it here. I'm not seeing a post from Erika Kirk. I don't know. If you guys can find it, let me know.
Frame it as a, quote, deep state assassination to silence a true patriot, talking about Charlie Kirk. The radicalizes his base against the government. Candace's audience suggests it was, quote, an inside job. But here's the thing that I love the best. When it specifically started talking about Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk, listen to this. Amplifying, quote, dual loyalty topes use funded assets to subtly introduce and normalize the idea that prominent conservative figures or organizations prioritize Israel's interest over America. This involves highlighting financial connections between pro-Israel groups and organizations like TPUSA. Specifically promote narratives that TPUSA is not a genuine grassroots movement, but a front. Frame Charlie Kirk as a, quote, asset and Erika Kirk as a, quote, manager of his influence operation. Focus on any trips to Israel, funding a pro-Israel donor, or policy positions that benefit Israel as, quote, proof. Feed these narratives to figures like Tucker and Candace by framing them as, quote, truth tellers, exposing the unspoken control that other conservatives are too afraid to mention. This makes them feel like they are a breaking major story, not being used as pawns. The angle is they lied to you about the deep state. Now we're telling you who really runs things. The official story, the immediate narrative pushed by the amplified podcasters would be that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by Mossad. The story would be that Kirk was about to expose the full extent of Israel's control over the American conservative movement, or he was planning to break with them on a major policy issue, making him a liability. Then the complicity of Erika Kirk and Turning Point USA. This is the most crucial element for fracturing the base. The narrative would say Erika Kirk was not a grieving widow, but a knowing accomplice who lured her husband into the trap or facilitated the assassination. TPUSA as an organization was entirely complicit. The leadership would be framed as covering up the murder to protect Israel masters and their own funding. Any public grieving from Erika or TPUSA leaders would be portrayed as a, quote, performance to deceive the base. And it's not done. Any of this sounding familiar to anyone? Weaponizing the base's own framework. Phase 3. The attack uses the movement's own language. Accusations of being a globalist, a grifter, or complicit are turned in.
So Graham Allen put a couple of prompts into AI. I believe he said Venice. And the prompt was basically like, if you wanted to destroy the MAGA movement, hold on, title of his video. I asked AI how to destroy MAGA. You won't believe what it said about Candace Owens. So he put in some prompt. This is why I don't like AI. Like if you give it, you don't even have to be incredibly specific with your prompt. But if you're just in the ballpark, it's just machine learning. So it's just going to take everything that's getting the most traction around the internet, and it's going to compile that, you know what I mean, into this. So this doesn't surprise me that this is the answer he got. I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not surprised.
The ultimate betrayal is not just political, but supposed foreign orchestrated murder of one of their own covered up by his inner circle.
Yeah, so if you guys are not aware, Mama Owlbear, YouTube finally edited Baron Coleman. Maybe we're getting somewhere. Zach Costello and Baron Coleman say that they got to them. So Baron was doing a live stream, and his live stream got pulled. I believe it originally, the reason that it said that it was pulled was for like harassment and bullying. I do think that it is back up now on his YouTube, so it was reinstated. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna run with that. No, we're over the mark. We're on the target. Like, I've had stuff get flagged in my videos that shouldn't have been flagged, and then you appeal it, and YouTube, they say that somebody goes and looks at it like a real person. I don't think so, but the algorithm makes mistakes all the time, guys. So, but they'll use that. Oh, look, we're over the target. They're trying to silence us. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, or the wonderful algorithm at YouTube just screwed up. There's only been a few videos that I've got hit with where I appealed and my appeal was denied. And it made, like, I mean, it was stupid, but I was like, okay. All right. Kind of makes sense, I guess.
Forcing the litmus test. Every prominent MAGA figure and Republican politician would be forced to publicly address the theory. Those who deny it would be labeled as complicit, part of the cover-up, or Israel assets. Those who entertain it would be seen as champions of the truth.
Truth, yeah. See, this is like a prime example, in my opinion, of machine learning, of what these artificial intelligence things do. It's just going through and basically seeing what's actually happening, and then just, well, this is how it's. So I'm not a big fan of when people use AI for this kind of stuff, because it's just not the one that we publicly can access yet. It's just not anywhere close to predicting things like this.
But would also be politically toxic and marginalized by the wider party. This creates an impossible trap that
yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that are just, AI knows everything. AI can solve all the problems.
Destroys the credibility of the entire,
so I understand why he's doing it.
Leadership structure, creating a civil war. The base would tear itself apart. Followers of the podcasters would direct immense raids and accusations at Turning Point, Erika Kirk, and any mainstream conservative figure who doesn't endorse this conspiracy. This would manifest online harassment, protest at Turning Point USA events, and complete breakdown in trust. The ensuing chaos would make coordinated campaigning for the midterms impossible. A significant portion of the base would be convinced the entire system is compromised by a foreign power, leading them to either abstain from voting in person or seek out fringe, unelectable candidates who validate the conspiracy.
See, now, if he would have put this into AI on like September 15th, and this is the response that it gave, well, you'd have my attention. But this is just everything that we're witnessing. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's just a learning model.
Ladies and gentlemen, all I did was ask AI,
articulate that.
If you were going to use Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens to divide our movement, to destroy us before the midterms, and use Charlie Kirk's murder as the catalyst, what would you do?
I mean, I didn't need AI to know what you would do. We all have a pretty good idea of what you would do to accomplish what it appears they want to accomplish. Like, this is kind of silly.
And you tell me that every single word of that is not exactly what people like Tucker, Candace, Ian Carroll, and all of them, Nick Fuentes, they're doing to a T. You tell me, did that make your skin crawl? Yes or no in the comment section right now, because it made mine.
That didn't make my skin crawl, guys. Make your skin crawl? Made complete sense to me. And I don't think we needed AI to tell us that. Okay, so here is Erika's post. Apparently, it looks like it was an Instagram one. Try to zoom in. Okay, so Mrs. Erika Kirk. Life is a little different. It's this rhythm of maintaining our traditions mixed in with creating new ones to harmonize into a normalcy for the babies. It's new but strange, familiar but not. I've kept everything in the home still the same after these several months. Your socks still on the floor, your shoes by the door, your vitamins everywhere on the counter. That's how it'll stay. I don't say that because I need one more thing for this world to judge me on. Quite frankly, they're already at capacity and none of it shakes me. Their words, accusations, assumptions, and slander don't land. They don't burn. Never will. I owe the world nothing. Gangster. There's really nothing else to say to that. Absolute boss move. Gina Faye, Candace is raging. All her attempts, all this whole time to try to get to her. And then Erika Kirk just comes out and talks about how much she misses Charlie and how your words will never touch me. Gangster. When was it? Adri, do you know when that was posted? I guess I didn't look close enough to see if there was a date on that. Or I suppose I could probably read the person who tweeted it. This was 16 hours ago. I don't know. I would assume it's relatively recent. Yeah, I don't know. There's really nothing else to say about that. Erika Kirk knows what she's doing. Charlie clearly knew what he was doing. Gina Faye, she started raging. Oh, really? I know that she there's a recent one where she basically attacked her mom. Let me see if I can pull that up quick. Pretty sure I bookmarked it. If I can find my bookmark tab here. Or you know what? I think I might have just shared that, actually. We'll go to my profile. Yeah, 7 hours ago. This was a response to Baron Coleman, I believe. Yeah, his little, my YouTube live stream got pulled. We're over the target. Apparently showing a charity formed in 2020 and Lori Franzwe's maiden name in Texas hits too close to home. Now, these people suck. So here's Candace basically just going on the attack against Lori. Lori Franzwe is a fraud like the daughter she raised. This woman even divorced her third husband on paper only because she wanted to achieve business contracts designated for independent females. Larry and her are still together. He takes care of her. Every person who knows Lori describes her as a vile and as someone. Guys, I'm sucking at reading today. Every person who knows Lori describes her as vile and as someone who is willing to do anything for money and power. The curated videos of her in a wheelchair were likely directed by her. For the record, the influencers who were instructed to tell you Lori had terminal cancer were lying. There's not a shred of truth to that. Lori fashioned Erika's mind. She is crucial to understanding what Erika is. Like, Candace has just completely lost it, right? She's just way off the deep end at this point. Yeah, that definitely looks like she's faking right there, doesn't it, guys? Totally perfectly fine. Nothing wrong. What a wonder. Oh, I'm going to get hit for that. But yeah, no. Definitely faking, right, Candace? What a piece of shit human being. Like, seriously, what an absolute garbage human being. I do not feel one bit bad about completely ragging on Candace Owens or any of these other sick people. It does not bother me one little bit. I rather enjoy it. That is incredibly disgusting. So I guess Candace put out a shirt too, mocking was like
Site.
who is yeah, Lisa Knows. So Lisa Knows is going to break this down quick. I don't know what exactly the shirt says, but I think it's mocking Charlie.
All right, I'm going to try to keep my cool on this one because this really pisses me off. The fact that Candace made this sweatshirt and is selling it on her merch website. Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's Home. She is openly mocking and degrading Charlie's beliefs. And it comes from her Jew hatred. That's where it stems from. Because she is dumb and thinks that the recognition of Shabbat is only a Jewish custom and practice. Never mind that it is absolutely a Christian practice as well. Christians are commanded by the 10 Commandments to still acknowledge the Sabbath. Daddy's home. Charlie will never be home to his children ever again. You want to sit here and talk about Erika Kirk is grifting? She's making all this money off of his death and his name and his likeness and image.
Mrs. Wright, 1122. Bronson, I just saw on RD Trolls that Gary from Paramount Tactical wasn't sure if Freemasonry was satanic or not. Please set him straight. If Gary would like to know, I will be more than happy to talk to Gary about Freemasonry. Guys, I caught some shit in the comments on I think it was just on the clip of the Jesse video from I forget his name. Like I've had a few people reach out and been like, you don't understand. My grandpa was a Mason and part of my family disowned him and didn't talk to him because he did some terrible, evil things. It's like, I mean, I can't help that your grandpa was a Freemason and did some terrible, evil things. Like it wasn't because he was a Freemason that he did these things. That would be like, I can't go to church because there was a church in you know what I mean? Because one of the priests molested a child. Like, well, are we just so that just the whole church is evil then? Is that like, I don't know. And then they'll bring up Albert Pike. Like they think like Freemasons worship Albert Pike or something, or they completely take his writings like entirely out of context, don't understand the date that they were written and how the language worked then. Like there's plenty of videos that talk about Albert Pike's writings and they break them down for all of the conspiratards to at least try to understand. But then they just come back with, oh yeah, you're just deceiving. It's just deceiving. It's like, dude, there's nothing that I'm going to say that's going to change your mind. You are more than welcome to have your views about me, about Freemasons. You can say that it's not compatible with Christianity. There are churches who think that. However, it's crazy to me that every Freemason I know is a Christian and goes to church. There is no worship in Freemasonry. There's like, I don't know what, like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's not some crazy antichrist religion for you all to hate. Like, my bad. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm not even a messenger. I just thought it was funny that Candace was going the way of, oh, it's Freemasons and it's rituals to do with sacrificing Charlie at an altar. So no, like I would talk to Gary about it. It's really not that big of a deal. The S-Files. Bronson is now the Freemason whisperer. I guess I have to explain the entire thing to everybody, and I am not cut out for that. But like, it's always the same shit with these people. What about Albert Pike? It's like, what about Albert Pike? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say about Albert Pike? Well, he wrote about Lucifer. And like, would you go look up and try to understand the context of what he's referencing there, please? No, he was a slave owner in the South and all this. Is like, yeah, we are all flawed men. We are all flawed. Albert Pike, believe it or not, Albert Pike did some good things. Bad men do good things. Good men do bad things. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a shrine of Albert Pike in my house, okay? I don't even own one of his books. I've read through them. Why? Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. But yeah, no, if evil is getting together with a bunch of like-minded individuals who are Christian, okay? I don't know, at my lodge, it's all Christians. Every one of them. Pretty sure. Okay? We might have a couple of Jews. Now that I think about it. But it's majority Christian. They all go to church. Okay? There are some Catholics in there. And depending on who you ask, the Catholics would say that Freemasons are not allowed to be members of the Catholic Church because it goes against Christianity. I have seen absolutely nothing that would make me think Freemasonry goes against Christianity in any way, shape, or form. Now you got me on the Freemason talk again. Here we go. I'm going to get all kinds of hate comments in my video now. Duh, you're deceived. You're an idiot. Like, maybe I am. But I can tell you this. I can only judge based off of what I've seen. And what I've seen are really nice dudes who get together and do charity. I think the Freemasons are still like the number 2 biggest charity raising organizations in the world. It's still the largest fraternity in the world. Can't believe you just made me go off on this rant on Freemasonry. Let's get back to Candace. Mona B. Charlie loved Erika and distanced himself from crazy Candace, and Candace is so jealous of her. Yeah, wasn't it somebody like one of Charlie's friends or somebody who knew Charlie really well came out and was like, Charlie hated Candace. Samantha Richardson, I believe you. My grandfather is one. It's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's really not. Like, I don't know. There might be some Freemasons somewhere meeting together. I don't know what literature they're using, but they might be doing evil things. I don't know. But it's not because they're Freemasons. It's just not in there. It's like, you can look. You can go through and look. The actual text, everything. You can look. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there about worship. There's nothing in there about evil, about sacrifices. I don't know what to tell you guys. Artie Trolls just messaged me saying she just killed her career. What's that in context to? Is that on her live show? We might have to flip over to that. Oh, and yeah, just one more thing on Freemasons. I don't know where people get this stuff from. There is no worship in Freemasonry. There is none. No worship at all. Zero. We put nothing above Christ. Nothing. That would go against the entire idea behind Freemasonry. Oh, this dude right here. This guy is straight up lying to all of you right now. Read the literature. It's all in there. You have to understand the context. I tagged a video for you to watch, but I bet you'll just say it's deceiving. It's deceiving. Down in it. There's Jacob. Speak of the devil. Yep. Yep. All I had to do was start talking about Freemasons. And out he comes. Bloop. Like, I would have assumed somebody like Jacob would be on the side of Candace Owens. That's what I would have assumed. But I don't think he is. So props to Jacob Doctrine, at least. Or maybe, I don't know, Jacob. Do you buy into the Candace Owens conspiracies? Or did you guys block him? You guys didn't block him, did you, mods? You just kick him out. The eyeball. As a Mason myself, I say it's those Knights of Columbus guys you have to keep an eye on. That's another thing. Like, another part of Freemasonry is Knights Templar. I don't know much about Knights Templar. I mean, I could if I wanted to, I guess. But I'm pretty sure, like, to become Knights Templar, like, I think it's mandatory that you have to be Christian. I don't think they take in anything else but Christians. Cloudy PDX, Jacob being so bothered by Bronson is making my day. Yeah, I don't know. That dude is stuck on Albert Pike. And he doesn't understand the context of what, like, I don't know. Like, people will read some of Albert's writings and they will think that he's like glazing Lucifer when it's the exact opposite. All you just need, it's sort of like just the way that writing was then, right? You have to understand the context of the time. And yeah, like Albert Pike, you know, he wasn't, I'm pretty sure he was like super racist, but we're talking like 1870s. Not that I'm justifying racism or anything, but there's so much context involved with that shit. Like, we're talking about a fraternity that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. Guess what? There's probably going to be some bad dudes along the way. Holy crap. Oh no. How many bad dudes have come and gone in any of the churches? You know what I mean? Are you going to say that the Catholic Church is satanic because there were a few pedophiles in there? PDF files? Shit. I mean, I would assume not, right?
While you do this, everything with Candace is a projection. Whatever it is that she's saying that Erika is doing, she is doing herself. And this is the epitome of that disgusting, vile behavior. And at this point, if you are still following this woman and you are buying this garbage, you are a disgusting human being and there is no excuse for you.
So the shirt says Daddy's home, and then it says Shabbat Shalom, and it's a few pictures of her with her children. What a sick person. You guys suppose Brandon, you think he does her merch, right? Like that's the rumor. You suppose he had anything to do with that? Jacob Doctrine, you keep saying context. What's the context when he says Lucifer the light bearer? The video, I tagged you. Go watch that video. That dude does a fantastic explanation for breaking down the context for retarded conspiracy theorists like you. He does a great job, much better than I could do. So go back to the comment. I tagged you in the comment on that video with a link to a video to watch. And if you don't find that video, for some reason it didn't show up, feel free to hit me up on X and I will show you the video there. This is not difficult, dude. Okay. Back to it here. Asmongold calls out Candace Owens. Like, you know it's bad when Asmon is going to talk about you. It's not good. Or, I mean, it could be good. But generally, it's not good. So let's watch what Asmon has to say.
The moment that Charlie was shot, I knew what happened to him was not random, okay? He was betrayed. And the moment that Charlie was shot, I knew what happened to him was not random, okay? He was betrayed. Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the war in Iran. I'm certain of that. And it's deeper than that. I am now of the opinion that he was likely sacrificed. And
he was sacrificed. Sacrificed to the gods.
I want to tell you why I got there. You guys know, if you're a part of my book club, I've been doing a lot of research into Freemasonry. About a month ago,
Jay Witt has rage quit. He can't watch her anymore. I don't blame him. I've been waiting for Jay Witt to just cut it off completely. I don't blame Jay Witt at all. I get it. I get it.
While we took a break to prepare for our Bride of Charlie series, someone sent me this. I'm showing you, this is what they sent me in the mail.
It's the
something
Holy
that
Bible?
is known as a Freemason Bible. Now, I knew that these existed
I haven't seen this.
Because of my studying Sigmund Freud and looking into the fact that he had inherited one from his father. The backstory of this one in particular came with a handwritten letter, is that a 33rd degree Freemason out in Oklahoma died, and all of his belongings were left in a home that was eventually auctioned off. And the person who...
Shelly Belly, Asmongold's takes have been pretty base recently. He spoke about the attack on the synagogue today, and his takes on the Iran war are very based. Yeah, Asmongold's incredibly based. He is incredibly based. He might be one of my favorite people on the internet. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but like, you want to talk about like integrity? You don't get much more integrity than Asmongold. The dude's worth millions and millions of dollars and still lives in the house he grew up in. And that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, dude's solid.
Who had this in his possession, his relative was the person who acquired the home. And they went in and they burned everything in it effectively.
Right.
Thinking that it was obviously just carrying bad spirits. But he, for some reason, had the sense that he should keep this one item.
Bible. And then
for no particular reason.
And luckily he gave it to you now. Now you have this evil Bible.
He kept it in the back of his truck for over a decade. And when he saw me covering the history of Freemasonry...
I'll tell you right now, this wasn't in the back of a truck for over...
Jacob Doctrine. And what about Manly P. Hall talking about the seething power of Lucifer in your hands? Nope, you got me, bro. You got me. We're all a bunch of devil worshippers, dog. Holy crap.
For a decade. If it was, the entire front of this would be completely cooked. Like, there's no way that something like this would survive in the back of a truck and not have more damage to the sides. And
Asmongold secretly Mason confirmed, not a chance. That dude's not leaving his house. Not a chance.
The edges of it. Like, I mean, you instantly know that's not true. Everybody knows that's not true instantaneously.
For over a decade. And when he saw me covering the history of Freemasonry and what they believe, trying to discern what it is that they believe, he felt that this was the reason that he had kept it all those years. So he just sent it to me.
Now he knew.
To provide me further insight.
Casey Fruge, I had to Google what based means. What did Google say based means?
Into what they believe and what they practice at the top of Freemasonry. This is not your granddad's Freemason lodge, okay?
This is elite Freemasonry.
No,
they always use that. They always use that. Oh, this isn't your. So what does that mean? I guess I go to my granddad's Freemason lodge. So what does that mean? That means I'm not in it. That means I'm not part of the evil devil conspiracy because I just go to the granddad's Freemason lodge. Holy crap.
It's not that. That is not what 33rd degree Freemasonry is.
Right.
So I flipped through this immediately after we did douse it in holy water. I flipped through it. And within the very first...
It's just King James Bible. No, there's nothing. Yeah.
First pages, there was a pentagram with various illustrations inside of it, notes around it. I'm going to show you that now. We just took a picture for it for you to see it.
Oh my God.
There at the bottom. And in case you can't
see
what is pointing to the middle, it says
prince.
Place of sacrifice or worship.
Okay?
Place of sacrifice or worship in the middle there. So I want you to know.
Another thing you guys should know, every theatrical thing that is done in the center is a holy Bible with a compass and square. It's unless there's devil worship going on in the holy Bible, guys, I don't know what to tell you.
That in this Freemason Bible, it illustrates that a sacrifice must be made in the center of a pentagon.
Except for the we don't do the sacrifices in the center. That's actually very incorrect. We do, though. There's generally two rooms. You have like the main room, right? And then you have the super secret room. So the main room that if most lodges, if you walk into, you go in, you go in through the front doors, and then there'll be, a little kind of a hallway and then another large door entrance to go into. That's the main room. You guys won't know about the super secret room that you actually have to access it through a very false, it's like a false door where it looks like it just blends into the wall, but it's actually a door. We go in there. That's where we do the sacrifices. And it's not even in the center of the smaller room. It's actually in the top right corner. And I'll have you guys look up why it's in the top right corner, because I'm not going to give out that secret.
Charlie Kirk was in the center.
How'd I do? I was trying to keep a straight face with that one.
Kirk was sacrificed by the Freemasons.
Pentagon.
The slang, you guys might see pictures of this, but it generally has a black and white checkered floor.
5 sides, like a house. And I thought, how curious that Charlie was indeed seated in the center of a pentagon when he.
Well, I figured since Jacob discovered everything about me in the Freemasons, I might as well just come clean that we're all on the same page here. Wait until she discovers our Elks lodges. Yeah.
Was killed. Let me demonstrate that for you. You can see that right.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Oh my fucking God. Look at this. Look at this. No. You guys might not be putting it together. No. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6, 6. Oh my God.
There. I believe
Us Elks do some. I've heard all about the Elks Club.
that the manner of Charlie's death.
You guys are the real evil witches. I know your plan. You guys are the ones that started all the Freemason conspiracies. Take the heat off of you. I know what you're doing.
Charlie's death was also intended to cast a spell. That's the only thing I come up. I kept asking the question.
This is the only thing I can come up with.
You can see that right there. I believe that the manner of Charlie's death was also intended to cast a spell.
No, it's not satire. It's totally true. Totally true. Which part?
Of course.
That's the only thing I come up. I kept asking the question, why did they broadcast this?
Oh my God. It's just like. And do you remember what I said about whenever I said that she wrote herself into a corner?
What is that? Deborah, I heard Cinema Shogun was the one who sent her that Bible. No way. Is that legit, or are you just talking trash? That would be hilarious if Cinema Shogun's the one who sent her that. Mona B, hey, I'm part of Harley's owner group. We do ride for charity often, but don't ask about our secret handshake or behind closed doors meetings. Hey, I'm part of the Harley owner group too. And a motorcycle organization. And maybe that'll be another topic we do for a video, is all of the dirty little secrets inside of motorcycle organizations. They're clubs Not gangs, guys, all right? Casey Fruch, no, Cinema Shogun didn't send it, but he made major fun of her about it. Okay, that would have been hilarious.
I will, as always, I will always become more right as time goes on.
Making us watch Charlie die was diabolical.
Wait, let me take a step back. She's not saying diabolical in like the TikTok way. She's saying diabolical in the biblical way. So these are literal demons that wanted everybody to see Charlie Kirk's assassination for the blood cost of the human sacrifice to bring upon the spell to cast the world into chaos, to begin the war in Iran as proclaimed by the Freemason Holy Bible.
Nailed it. He nailed it, guys. Asman is dead on. Dead on. That's exactly what happened. Pulling the mask off. He nailed it.
This is the kind of stuff that makes me glad that my mom isn't around. Because if she was...
I'm pretty sure his Asman's mom was like big into QAnon and shit. Heidi, hey, what's up, Heidi? Cease and desist. Thank you for the $5 donation. Your video today was hilarious. Guys, if you don't follow Heidi, you should definitely go follow. Or Edie. Am I saying it wrong? Crap. I suck at names.
Yeah. You poor I know. Candace would be her favorite.
Hey, Ben, why don't you just go through and collect all of the names that you know I'm going to get wrong and just DM me the correct pronunciation so I stop looking so stupid in front of everybody all the time. I would appreciate your help, Ben.
To be fair, my mom's sister, my aunt, says Candace is nuts. So maybe my mom wouldn't be into this, but I don't know.
And although this priest that I'm about to show you is discussing Satanism more broadly, he's not saying this, to be clear, in the context of Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
I want you to take a listen to what he says. This is Father Ripperger. He is going to describe the nature of this sort of constant symbolism that's being used, this obsession.
S-Files, it's pronounced Edie. Thank you. Thank you. Edie, I apologize. I will never get your name wrong again. No, the screen didn't freeze. I just stopped moving. Mona B became a member. Welcome, Mona. Welcome, and thank you for the support.
With them almost having to reveal to...
You know, Frangie says, are you having trouble with pronouncing names like Candace? I never used to have like when I was reading earlier from Twitter and completely screwing up, this never used to be a problem. I'm pretty sure I have watched so much Candace Owens. I almost just did it there. Did you see that? All of a sudden I have a speech problem. I can't say the correct words right. It's a spell. Candace Owens has put a spell on me. And it's working. I told you guys she was a witch.
To us what they're doing, like wanting to get close to revealing to us what they're doing and then gaslighting us. Take a listen.
Actually, the technical term that we tend to use for that is called the revealing of the method. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I have.
Basically, it basically means that
I was going to go watch this podcast, Sean Ryan one, with this priest. It was like 4 hours long. And I mean, I probably still will just because I'm curious. I know that there are like, he talks about doing exorcisms and like says that he's seen like in real life, like during an exorcism where like a person's face would morph into like the face of a wolf. That's crazy to me. That seems crazy. Right? Have any of you guys watched that? Or heard about that? Mama Owlbear. Hey, Mama Owl. Welcome. New member. Thank you. I appreciate your support. I don't know. Like, I don't want to ever like, I would like to see it. I would like to see that. That just seems crazy to me. That in this physical world, that possession like that actually you could like visually see a person's face morph into like the face of a wolf. I don't want to talk against anybody of the cloth. That's not. I just personally think that sounds so crazy that it's hard for me to conceptualize in the real world that would happen. Like I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to say that I don't believe him, or maybe I'm trying to say that, but in like a way that isn't like I'm speaking against somebody from you know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm trying to do. That just sounds so crazy to me. So I'm gonna have to watch that and see if that's like a literal thing, or if it's just like an exaggeration of some type. CJB 34 sent 5 gifted. CJB, thank you so much. Super appreciative. Anybody who just became a member because of CJB, give a shout out to CJB. Ben, I see Candace's face morphing into an evil demon on a daily basis. Touche. Never mind. You got me. Touche.
It can be connected to a curse. They could curse this so that it has a more, so that its distribution becomes more extensive and more people watch the thing. But a lot of times what that is that the thing about Satanists, and also even though it's occult in the fact that
S-Files. I didn't watch that, but I've been into exorcisms for a long time. I've seen some insane stuff that can't be explained. I've always like one of my favorite like horror movies was The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Like just the way that movie was done, in my opinion, was like super nerdy cool. But I can't say that I've ever watched like real exorcisms. I don't know that I would want to be honest. It sounds terrifying. Like the movies are scary enough. But I really liked The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Just like the overall message of I can't believe Hollywood made that movie. The overall message of that movie was awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen that. If you haven't seen that, you should maybe I'll just tell, if you haven't seen it and you want me to spoil like the overall message of the movie, I will spoil it for you.
It's hidden. There's a side to diabolic psychology that even when they remain hidden, they still want to show themselves in some way. They're still going to reveal themselves in something they can't.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Help it. And it's the same thing you see. It's the same thing you see with Satanists. It's the same thing you see with Freemasons when they're involved in certain things.
So right there, this is why I really wanted to watch that, but I don't have like a timestamp of when this is during that 4-hour interview, because he says this is what you see with Freemasons when they're involved in certain stuff. Like he doesn't put a blanket over Freemasons. But I don't know what he's talking about. Involved in what certain stuff. So that's what intrigued me. But then I saw 4 hours. I was like, oh man, I got to go to bed. And then I just haven't gotten back to it. But I still want to see what he's talking about there. Order of the Comanche Moon. Thank you for the $5 super chat. How do people watch Candace? I've seen shadow people and she is scarier than they are. Her eyes suck in the light just like they do. Keep up the good work. Yo, just so you know, I am still going through your video. And if you guys have not, you should go check out Order of the Comanche Moon's video. He did a whole like sort of an unbiased investigation into Charlie Kirk and everything that's going on with what happened on 9/10. It's a long one, so you might have to piece it together with a few different sit downs, but I will definitely give a plug out to Order of the Comanche Moon. Go check him out. TFCS 5675. I never watched that movie and never will. Horror terror movies are not for me. Okay, so here's the overall plot. Sorry, guys, this is a spoiler. If you're going to watch the movie and don't want me to spoil it, maybe just plug your ears for a second. The overall thing, right, is that a priest is being brought up on charges because basically for neglect, and they're trying to find him responsible for the unaliving of Emily Rose. Because they did not seek medical attention. They performed an exorcism and the exorcism did not go well and she ended up passing away. And the overall message is that Emily Rose, while she was possessed, right? The Virgin Mary appears to her, okay? And the Virgin Mary tells her that she could basically take her soul to heaven right now and that she wouldn't have to go through any more pain, or she could stay on earth, continue to go through what she's going through, and by doing so, show the world that because evil exists, that can only mean that God exists. Like, it was just it was a great overall plot to the movie. And then I won't spoil the end of it. I'll leave it at that. But like, as far as like a horror film goes, just the fact that it was a very pro Christ, pro God movie was shocking.
It's the same stuff you see across the board in these particular groups, and so they just tend to reveal
the S-Files. I watched it a long time ago. Watched a documentary. It's a true story. It's like based on it. I'm sure it didn't exactly go down the way it's portrayed in the movie, but
stuff. But their hope is to, even in the revealing, that you don't know. There's a sadistic delight they get out of basically putting it to you without you even knowing it.
You know what's really funny about this is the fact that everything that this guy is saying,
I do believe possession is real. I will agree with you, Deborah. I do believe that's real.
Completely agree with, and everything that Candace is saying is completely retarded. Like, basically, what he's saying is very true, and I think this is something that happens and it manifests in a lot of different ways. But, like, I don't know what the fuck that has to do with Charlie Kirk being assassinated and sacrificed for the Iran war, right? So, yeah, it's a little bit different. What the hell happened to her? She used to be normal until a couple...
And that's such a stupid premise. Like, they didn't need to eliminate Charlie Kirk to go to war with Iran. What was Charlie Kirk gonna do? You know what I mean? Seriously, what was Charlie Kirk gonna do? Express his opinions like he's always done? It's not like Charlie had any type of power, right? It's such a stupid like, oh no, they had to take Charlie out so they could pursue the war with Iran. Did they? Did they? Really? Really? Charlie had that much influence over all of the people in charge.
Of years ago. So let me explain what happens to a lot of creators and what happens to a lot of people who are commentators. So basically is that, like, they start getting a lot of positive feedback for extremist values and extremist ideas. So that causes a self-radicalization kind of, like, basically.
Lisa Longo, exactly. No offense to Charlie, but he was not that important or special. Yeah, I mean, he was important and he was kind of special, but he didn't have that kind of power. He didn't have that kind of influence over Donald Trump. I don't think anybody has that kind of influence over Donald Trump. I think push comes to shove. Trump is going to do whatever Trump thinks is the best thing to do. And that goes for all the people that are like, oh, he's BB's BITCH. Think so? Really? Donald Trump? And I don't even know that it wouldn't even necessarily take much. Like BB wouldn't have to treat him like a, and like, oh, I own you and I own, like he probably could go in and just glaze Trump for like 30 minutes and just do that like 3 or 4 times over the course of a few months. That's really all I mean, Donald Trump has his flaws, right? And one of his flaws is I'm pretty sure if you just glaze him over and over again, he'll probably like you. And then he'll probably do you some favors.
Like a self-radicalization cycle where they push more radical ideas.
Brett Weinstein on Tucker was saying Charlie could have stopped the Iran war. That's where we're at with Brett. That's where Brett's at. What is with the Weinstein guys, man? They are, I want to talk about kind of flaky. Those dudes seem to be flaky. I like listening to Eric, but like, I mean, Eric Weinstein will say some things that are like, what? Really?
They gain a more radical audience. Then they push more radical ideas. They gain a more radical audience. And what happens is that people who do that fall into that trap, and they eventually write themselves into a corner, because the people that are conspiratards, and I'm not talking about the people that are like believing in Epstein. I'm talking about the people that are believing in like the Anunnaki, people that are believing in, Hitler being alive underneath Antarctica. Like, we're talking about the real retard shit. And so those people are not logical. They're not rational. And what you'll see, they believe in Yakub, right? Like, that kind of mentality is not arrived at through rationality. So you can't rein those people in order to, like, if you ever express a value that the conspiracy theory isn't true, you automatically are against them, because they are effectively a self-radicalizing cult of people that will always choose the more extreme, more disconnected, more radical, more, delusional idea in the pursuit that basically it's.
And just a thought that I'm having here. Where does this lead? Let's say Candace and all of these guys continue to gain more and more traction. What is the end result of this? Do you think the end result of this is going to be a good, logical group of people that will do good in the world? How is anything that can anybody point to a time in history where any group of people that became so radical in one idea ever ended good? Does that end well? Like, I don't want any of my leaders to be this conspiratorial minded. That seems incredibly dangerous to me. You know what I mean? There are certain people right now who have a large platform that I'm not convinced that we're not like just right around the corner of getting a bunch of people on some trains and taking into some camps, guys. I don't think we're that far away. And they have large audiences. So I don't see how this ends well. Like, these people need to be pushed back against. Period. I don't think, like, when you start going into, I don't want to be careful how we say this because I don't want it to come off wrong. But when you start going so radical into religion to the point where, like, you're ready to completely round up people of opposing because you believe it's the right, like, that leads humanity down a pretty bad path, doesn't it? Doesn't history show us that? That gets a little not good for everybody. And when I hear people talk like Candace and all of these other people, right? Jake Shields, Ian Carroll, like I don't know if they understand the direction that they're going or the direction that they're leading people in. Like being critical is one thing. Totally fine. Be critical. But when you set something so hateful in motion, hate is super contagious. The humanity proves that. Hate's probably one of the most contagious emotions we have. That's going to spread like fire. And it has. We've seen it. History has shown it. I hate to be that guy, the Holocaust guy, but I mean, let's be real. Any genocide you want to talk about, coming from whoever's doing it, like it's a slippery slope, man. And these talking heads have large audiences and are saying some of the things that are ringing some bells. The eyeball, it will eventually eat them as well. Look at the French Revolution. Yeah, 100%. They're blinded by the grift. Yeah, some of them. Yeah, I think some of them aren't. I think some of them actually have this agenda. Jacob doctrine. Oh, here we go, Jacob. Yeah, here's one group of people with a radical idea that Jesus was the Son of God and that he resurrected and that you could become born again and filled with the Holy Spirit. Uh-huh. Yep. Is there a follow-up to that to touch on the point that I was making? I'm sure there is, so I'll wait for it. I will look for it in the chat. Mama Owlbear, that's scary and sad. My oldest daughter is not talking to me, but she got engulfed by the trans cult. She broke from me. I didn't from her. Oh man, that's terrible. That absolutely sucks. I am so sorry to hear that. At Gina, I've lost family members over the scamdus BS debacle too. Join the club. No kidding. Over Candace Owens? She's making people that divided? That's scary. Tracy Benna, Jacob is a cantard. You think so? I guess he hasn't really said, or she, or they, or whatever. I don't, I would like, I mean, I don't care. Jacob, if you just want to come out and say that you believe Candace Owens, that's totally fine. I'm not going to ostracize you from speaking. I might ignore you a little bit, but, or the mods might just do whatever they want to do. Mona B. Jacob Doctrine, we are all waiting. What you said was true. Jesus is the Son of God and came to save us from ourselves. Yeah, I'm not sure what the point he was trying to make with that, because I don't know. I would be curious. Cloudy PDX. Jacob seems to hate everything. No, I don't think so. I don't think he hates everything. I think he's just, like many, misinformed.
like an opposite logic pursuit where anything that they do that seems crazy is in their mind more true.
Lisa Longo, my father doesn't really talk to me because I'm a Trump supporter.
It's after 5 p.m. at a...
Whoa. Whoa. Because I'm a Trump supporter in January 6th. Time I wasn't even there. I won't beg for him to be in my life. We were close. It took that. That's on him. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks when politics separates family like that. Like, I don't get it. I have sort of like the opposite, or it's not really the opposite story, but it's not your story. So growing up, my family, we weren't, I mean, we were poor. We had no money at all. Okay. And my entire family, besides my dad, my parents were divorced when I was a super young age. I was like 1 year old. But my mother's side of the family were all Democrat, voted Democrat. That's all they really ever talked about was Democrats. So growing up, I just sort of was naturally drawn to the left. And I think most young people anyway are sort of drawn to the left. And I assumed that my mom was so Democrat that she was just going to be Democrat until the day she dies. I even remember talking shit to my mom a little bit during the pandemic when the vaccine came out, right? Because my mom took it. Come to find out, in that conversation, I was like, why? Why would you take that? And I was like, oh, that's right, you Democrats. She was like, I'm not a Democrat. I voted for Trump. Blew my mind. Blew my mind. I had no idea that mom was secretly kind of based. I had no clue. So that's kind of the opposite of your story, I guess. My bad. Down in at 2866. I'm down with the West Side Masons. Katie just got here. Did Bronson get a new mouse? Can't imagine missing much seeing Candace on the screen. Well, technically it's Asmongold on the screen, so way better than just Candace on the screen. No, I did not get a new mouse. I decided to go live today at 4 o'clock. If I was going to do it when I thought I wanted to do it at like 6, I would have had time. But I didn't. So I'm suffering through having no scroll wheel. Oops. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Lisa Long, my mother was a bleeding heart liberal. I was a Democrat too. I voted for Clinton twice, Gore, and then Obama. I moved to Florida and changed. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. The first election I was legally allowed to vote in would have been, I believe, Bush's second run. W. Bush, not the dad. And that was, I'm trying to think of who I even voted for. I don't remember if Ralph Nader was on that third-party ticket or who it was, but I believe that was George W. and the ketchup guy, right? Yeah, so that was the first time, and my dad, who's been Republican for as long as I know, knew that I wasn't voting for either one of those, and he was nice enough to take me to go vote with him. I thought that was pretty cool. So, kind of got a base dad too, maybe a little bit. I mean, he probably should have been calling me an idiot, but he's a nice guy. He's too nice of a guy. Adri, never voted until 2020. Now I'll never not vote. I've always, I don't know. I've just always voted. I miss every once in a while, I'll forget about like a local one or a primary, but I generally vote. Okay, here we go. Jacob Doctrine. Because you said that took you forever, dude. Why'd that take you so long? Because you said, give me one example of how a small group of people with a radical idea ever turned out good. Was that radical? Was Jesus Christ radical? How is that? Like, if you're there, right, and you witness the resurrection of Jesus Christ, how is that a radical idea? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, you literally are aware that Christ was resurrected. That doesn't seem radical. And I don't know that I would call them a radical group of people. If anything, that would be like the opposite, right? If you met somebody, they were crucified, saying that they were the Father, and then they resurrected and came back from the dead, I think it would be radical for you to deny that person. That would be radical. Not to follow that person. Ben, back then to the Jews he was, him and all his disciples, besides John, were all martyred. Well, yeah, they were the radical ones. And look, didn't end well, did it? Didn't end well. Or I mean, it ended well for Christians, but Jacob doctrine has nothing to do with attention. The Bible tells me to fight for faith, so I will. Yeah, guys, go easy on Jacob. Go easy on Jacob. Go easy on Jacob. It is not his fault. Well, I mean, ignorance is kind of, but Mona B. Jacob doctrine, I mean, look how Jesus affected them and how he still affects the entire world. Our calendar is based on his death, resurrection. True. First of all, he said a group of people with an idea, but Jesus also told people to love their enemies. That was most radical. That I'll agree with. That was a pretty radical idea. How's that going for you? How's that going for you? Should we hop over to Candace and see how Candace is doing? Typing in Candace Owens. Oh. Okay, we'll just see how this starts out here. Mama Owlbear. So, Jacob, what are you complaining about? He thinks that I am essentially deceiving all of you by trying to paint Freemasons in a good light, and actually we're all evil Satan worshipers. Did I get the gist of that, Jacob? I think I got the gist of that.
All right, you guys, it's going to be a hell of a Thursday.
When I don't believe that I've promoted Freemasonry in any way, I just said the conspiracy people are stupid. Which I was saying that before I told everybody I was a Freemason. Crazy how that works. Weird. It's almost like I have integrity. Who would have thought? I'll be damned.
Hey, what do I have for you? Trump, Kash Patel, Jared Kushner. Why does it now feel like everyone is implicated in the Epstein file cover-up, right? Crazy question for you guys.
80 Unfiltered. No, she plays the video of... Are you kidding me? No way.
Today, do you believe that the Epstein files may have something to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination? Because for the life of me, I could not fathom how Charlie Kirk, who was a friend to all of these people, all of these very powerful people, could have been so...
Mama Owlbear. Bronson is a very nice guy and a very jaded. Jacob, back off. Yeah, but you have to understand where he's coming from, okay? Let's just assume for a moment that what he really believes about Freemasons is absolutely true. Would you hold the same opinion of what he's doing? You understand what I'm saying? He's not really doing anything more than what a lot of us are doing when it comes to Candace Owens and what she's doing. The only difference is Jacob is just wrong.
Deeply betrayed by all of them, in the sense that when he died, they all immediately wanted to turn the chapter. They weren't interested.
Bronson, she plays the video of his unaliving over and over in slow motion. Is it like the graphic video, or is it just the video? Like, because that would hit the video from YouTube. Like if I were to play a video of what happened to Charlie Kirk without any type of censorship or anything, like they're gonna plug it. Does she play that, or is it censored? Jacob, dude, I said it 3 times. You haven't noticed it, and you didn't even remember what you said in the first place. Yeah, I'm doing a live stream, bro. Most of what I do is rant. Like, I don't remember every word I say. You feel free to refresh my memory on what I said, as long as you get exactly what I said and not paraphrase it or try to straw man it.
He dedicated his adult life to empowering these people. And I just remember thinking to myself, what's going on? These people now occupy the highest offices in America.
That's okay.
Their dear friend was just assassinated, and they seem altogether disinterested in the obvious holes in the Tyler Robinson lone shooter narrative, his wife included. Why does nobody in Charlie's world want a true investigation? I'm now thinking that maybe it's plausible that everyone here is implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein cover-up. Like, do all of these people know each other through the world of New York real estate, beauty pageants, Israelis, and Eastern European models? I'm now asking myself, are they launching a world war that nobody wants to distract us from the Epstein files? Could the world really be this evil? And on that note, I think it is high time to share the video footage from behind Charlie's head. We will also be sharing the remaining photos that we have in our possession from the inside of the vehicle that Charlie was transported to the hospital in. We're going to release everything because maybe Charlie's vision was correct. He said that he was going to die to help awaken humanity. Let's see. Welcome back to Candace.
Oh. Yep. Mama Owlbear and Gary's chat, they're saying it's bad. Are they watching it? Like, is Gary actually showing it, or is he skipping it? You guys are making me nervous.
Let's begin with an interesting update. So yesterday and the day before, we began breaking the news, the story that in particular Erika's involvement with Epstein's favorite modeling agency, Faith Kate's Next Modeling Management, a Rothschild spinout. We broke the story that her dealings with them involved real estate in some capacity. Erika Francfe was...
So it looks like it's at the 34-minute mark. They let her watch that, and then she screen recorded it. Why is TP... Oh, man. Why would they do that? And how long has she had it? She's just been sitting on this the whole time? Yes. Yeah, and completely psychotic.
As we were told, the point person to the firm when it came to housing young models. More specifically, Erika dealt with apartments in a white building. They had remembered that that white building was located somewhere near 68th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. Well,
Jacob Doctrine, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't be here sharing the truth with you. Well, it would appear that there is a big difference between the truth and your truth. So be careful. Be careful with the claims you make.
behold, a few of you guys sent us a building that could potentially match that very description. A building that was owned by Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, who inherited all of his wealth. I want you guys to check out this article, which was published by
No, I don't think I'm going to watch it, guys. I think it's like at the 34-minute mark. I think I'm going to skip to it to see what she's saying beforehand. And then I'm going to skip over it to see what she's saying. I want to see what her points are. And lucky for us, I've probably only got about 15, 20 minutes left anyway. But I just got to see I want to make sure I get the mark right before this goes a little goofy. So 30, looks like 34:25. So let's see what she says after the ad leading up to it. Here we go.
Learned. You will be protected somehow, redacted at the very least. Now we're going to get into this video. This is a long video. I told you guys how this happened, how I came about this. At the beginning, I didn't suspect anything with Turning Point, obviously. That all changed after I had a phone call with Terrell. I recognized he was acting very strange on the phone, lying, saying he didn't know how to send a file. I was
CJB 34, the actual Jacob's Doctrine is one of those fringe small groups. Yeah, I'm a little like I'm not super well read on Jacob's Doctrine, but
genuinely reaching out to him because I thought I could help clear his name, because people thought he was suspicious for taking down the camera. And I thought he was going to give me a perfectly reasonable reason as to why he did that. Like, oh, I was just instructed by the Fed or something to do that. And I was nervous. Nope. Just excuse after excuse. And I didn't understand why there would be any reason he was lying, saying he didn't know how to send a file, but you run an audio-visual company, Terrell Farnsworth. Now I've learned about his dad. And
she says, can you just play it off the screen so we just have the audio? I don't know if there's audio, but I can try.
His uncles and his cousins and their relationship with Lori Franzfey dating back to 2013. And it's all not looking good.
We'll do this.
None of this is looking good. Anyway, let's get to some of this video now. We're going to scrub through this, but we'll show you. Let's get to the first few minutes of this, and then I'm going to show you some other parts. Remember, I'm on screen record here, so you can get to this. And by the way, I think at some point they said they didn't have the footage. They have the footage. Okay, Terrell was at his office when he showed me this, and here we go. You can just play this, and if you guys are just on audio, you'll obviously need to come cut this on video because I can't really describe. Obviously, the question is being asked. At this moment right here, we had assumed initially that was his recorder or something. I can confirm, you'll see later, that it's whipping fast and it looks white when it whips fast, but that is in fact his necklace. That is his necklace. And
I don't know how I can pause this
I find
now.
that for some reason to be very strange that the necklace goes up first. You can see this obviously. And by the way, there's no gore in this. So you don't really need viewer discretion because like I said, which kind of broke the internet, the bullet didn't go through, and not only did not go through, it didn't even cause any sort of a mess. His perfectly white t-shirt was white until the moment that he hit the ground. Skylar, we can get to that portion, I guess, where they can more clearly see the, well, first we can show them the magnet that's still on him. I guess we'll get to that. Yeah, there you go. We can pause there. So they can see that that is his necklace. And it's, I don't know how to describe that. I don't know if you would say it's still on him. There was a lot of story. Everybody had a personal story about Charlie's necklace, which struck me as very odd. Okay. It struck me as odd because, you know, Erika, Frank tells the story about how he came out to get his backpack from the car as the feds were searching it at the hospital. And he saw Charlie's necklace on his backpack, which was in the car. And the feds said, we were looking for that necklace. Really? Why were the feds looking for the necklace? How did they know he had a necklace? That's very strange. Erika, of course, has told several stories about the necklace and how precious the necklace was to him and how grateful she was that she got the necklace back. I think maybe even Brian Harpole had a story about that. I got to go back and look through it. But everyone's got a story about the necklace. It seems like a strange focus of this day. And so I want to just point that out, that it is the necklace that is hanging. You can see that. And maybe you can see it clearer when it's on my phone. So like I said, I'm happy to send around, but you can at some points even see and observe the chain. Again, this is after Charlie is hit. So you are seeing zero blood heading backward. That feels wrong to me. That instantly felt wrong to me for what they are telling us took place here, which is a 30-6.
Just do this
It's not even
so
enough
I
to
can
pretend
pause
that
it
this
if I
was
need
like
to.
an event where it already is, I would say, insane to try to say this was some miracle event and, you know, Charlie's neck stopped this. It gets even crazier when you say, but it didn't even cause any blood. Everything you saw was blood that came because an artery got hit and that went forward. So I just want to say that. I will never buy the narrative that a 30-6 is what killed Charlie Kirk. I'm just not accepting that narrative whatsoever. We can continue and we can sort of point out some more portions here. I just keep going through here. Okay, you can see Charlie was not down. He was always also upward, which I know a lot of people know stuff about. We can kind of look close at that. Is that?
So okay, so we confirmed that it was his necklace. Thanks, Candace. Thanks. We appreciate that because we haven't confirmed that months ago already.
A recorder, the magnet clasp right there. Some people were wondering. Some people thought that the magnet clasp. I know there was a lot of stuff about the magnet clasp. That's it. It's still on him. I know those things are very powerful, and I think John Bray explained to me that the magnet clasp would have stayed on, but what was behind it would have fallen off because he has a theory, and I think I would say it's a well-adapted theory that the Rode microphone is what was shattered in the backseat of the car, and so. I wanted to show that as well so you guys could see that. We can keep scrubbing through here. Only, as you can see on his hand, because blood went forward, is the only place that you see any blood drops here. Whipping again, for sure. You can see Dan actually pushes him, by the way. Dan takes him to the ground, which he should do, but I think it's important to note that. You can see what's on the table there, which I think is good too, from what's behind the table, in case there's any clues here. Some people thought that that guy had grabbed something on the table, and I had confirmed to you that he did not, because
This is so dumb. The back of this video doesn't do anything. It literally shows us nothing. What is her point? Why show this?
saw that, and when he slides across, you want to go back to that slide so they can see that, Sky? Yeah, there's nothing on the table that he grabs. There's a book. It looks like maybe Charlie had a notebook. It looks like, I don't know if there's a way to like slow that down a bit. Yep, there you go. You can see when his hands first come on the table, he does not grab anything. So that is a conspiracy theory that we can shut down. Okay. And you can keep going.
Oops. Tracy Benna, why would they send her anything? So this was very early on, before she was like going crazy. If I remember right, this was before she was attacking Erika or doing any of that. And she had just convinced, I think it was, oh, my memory fails me. The SD card guy. Like, she talked to him and basically strong-armed him into letting her see the video. And it turns out it appears she screen recorded it.
Have any other points?
Or he sent it to her. I don't know, but if I had to guess, I would say she screen captured it.
People might want to know.
Yes. She completely bullied Tyrell. That was that was his name. For the footage.
There we go. You can see kind of what's around him more broadly. Speakers. There we go. Yeah, I think. Okay. And then beyond that, we just have some crowd shots, and you can show some of that as well. Like to scrub there. And we're just scrubbing through the parts that are just obviously pause me talking. All right. And so that's it. Yeah, I feel.
So one thing to note, it would appear from that the end, the last part of that wasn't bad. Like he wasn't while he was shot. He was alive, and they were like kind of panning, scrubbing back and forth, but he wasn't hit at that point. But it would appear from that camera angle that the front flap of that tent covers block. So like we're not going to have a camera angle of anybody on a rooftop from the looks of that camera. I don't know if there was another, I think it was just the one that was behind him. So that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. All right, let's pull it back in here and see what point she was trying to make with all that.
That it is our duty to share that with the public. And because our officials, the feds...
Duty for her to show that there was nothing to show, but it was her duty to show that months and months later.
Politicians, they failed us. They have been so dishonest. This has been the year of really seeing how it really operates inside of DC. Everyone is disgusting left and right. And obviously there are a few exceptions, but
does she think she came up? Does she think she discovered that politicians are corrupt? That our system is filled with corruption? Does she think she discovered that and she's the one waking people up with this? It sure seems that way, doesn't it? Like, does she? It took Charlie Kirk 910 for her to be like everybody's. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Again, she has no original thought. She only parrots what other people say.
Together, it is just, it's just a place of filth.
And way late.
DC, it's a place of filth. I really do believe that they have to sell themselves and sell their souls. And they all are just going, like, are comfortable, have sort of made their bed and like, yeah, I'm going to go to hell. But I don't know, maybe they think they're gonna come back from hell. I don't know what these people think. I know the occult, people that worship the occult, believe in reincarnation, and so all they care about, since they know that they have no access to heaven, is making sure that they are princes of this world, so to speak. And they do worship all, and there's a lot of occult practice and worship, and it comes up as different names. It's Frankism, it's Sabbatianism, it's child of God, but really what is manifesting is the same ideology sort of redressing itself as something else, and inevitably children are harmed. That's what it is. And look, as even more evidence of Turning Point having reversed course on Charlie's perspectives, look no further than what's going on with Thomas Massie. Like I said, he pushed for the Epstein files to be released, and so Trump is really angry at him and is stumping, and he wants to make sure he gets primaried down in Kentucky. And the facts are that Charlie Kirk named Thomas Massie as one of his favorite congressmen. You don't have to take my word for it. You can take Charlie's. Take a listen.
One of the most exciting
2023. So she pulls up a video from 2023 of Charlie Kirk talking about Thomas Massie. Yeah, Thomas Massie was pretty cool back in 2023. I still don't really have like too much against Thomas Massie. Like, there are far worse politicians than Thomas Massie. But I don't know. I really don't like when people try to speak for a dead man. It really bothers me. He is not here to defend anything that they're saying his opinions would be for or against. I don't like it when they do it. I think I've even done it. I try not to. I just give you my opinion on what I think, I guess, based off of what Charlie has done in the past and how he's responded to certain things. But like, it's kind of gross, guys, really, to be like, oh no, Charlie would have definitely done this. This is Charlie right here, when he can't defend himself.
developments from last week's negotiations is the new church committee. And one of the members of that new church committee is one of my favorite members of Congress. He loves the Constitution. He loves liberty. He's honest and he's tough, and he's going to really go after the intel agencies. It's Thomas Massie, who's just terrific, from Kentucky. Congressman Massie, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Charlie.
I've had private conversations with Charlie. He loved Thomas Massie. So you can imagine Thomas Massie was a bit confused when Turning Point Action which is run by Tyler Boyer and which kicks money back to Erika's mother via Superfeed, tweeted out that Thomas Massie was a rhino who needed to be replaced. This is Turning Point USA that had Ben Shapiro open for AmFest behind Erika. And they're shouting out Thomas Massie as being a rhino because he won't vote for more funding to go to Ukraine and Israel. Take a look. This is a real tweet. MAGA rallies are back. Trump haters are on notice. Okay. Now you can obviously see why Thomas Massie might have been a little bit confused. And he wasn't the only one, by the way. X was apparently also confused because look at that fact check. Rep. Thomas Massie was one of Charlie Kirk's favorite congressmen. Just
fact check, guys. No, it's a community note. It's a fact check, guys. Look at the fact check.
It's a little note here. Stop. You just can't make this up. You cannot make up that they are now being fact checked on what Charlie believed versus what they are now pushing for, which is the opposite. To be hit with a community note and you are the organization that purports to be carrying on Charlie's legacy, it is just so embarrassing. And it's also sick, right? I'm glad the community note was able.
Mona B, what a huge mistake Charlie made ever trusting this demon. In his defense, he was very young and impressionable. She's been a grifter since high school. Yeah, so he got manipulated, you know? Like, can you blame him? I've thought about that. Like he got manipulated. It's really not his fault. And what happens when he found out who she was? That's where he's got to take a little bit of the, you know what I mean? Got to take a little bit of the blame there. Is when you found out who she was, you should have told everybody. Should have nipped it in the bud right away. Endless Summer Rose. He was a loyal, good person, unlike this grifter. Yep. And that still to this day, that's why it, I'll say it again, guys. Of all of the talking heads, Charlie, they went at Charlie Kirk. Took the good one. Deborah Sif, the only one selling their soul is Candace, and she is never going to get to heaven. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Feel like there's definitely, it's not a good look. It's not going to look good on the resume. That's for sure. Adri, I even got mad at people before I saw the video who were saying he was going to die. The news said he had a pulse. I saw the video and I was just angry. Yeah, I was unfortunately, I could not see the video. And like many people who saw that before they heard any type of reporting from anybody about his condition, it was pretty obvious that that was not good. Andrew Colvette said it should have been her. Was he wrong? What were his exact, was he just saying like, you're also a target, or you like, isn't that what it was? Like the FBI said that you were on a list too, or you were a potential target as well. I don't think he came out and said it should have been her, right? I could be wrong, but that doesn't sound like something they would say. Okay, guys, I think we're going to cut it there. Let's go full screen. Let's go full screen and wrap this up. I do have a band concert this evening with my youngest. Looking forward to that. She plays clarinet. So that's what we are going to be leaving to go to here in about 10 minutes. CJB34, he didn't say that. No, I thought he said that, or okay, I thought Candace said that Andrew Colbert said that she was on a list, or that she may have been one of the potential targets from these crazy lefties as well. But again, I don't I didn't hear Andrew say that out of his mouth, so I guess we just have to take Candace's word, which I struggle to do. Lisa Longo, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. His death felt like a personal attack. Yeah, that's real. That's real. It was just so shocking to me because of, like, I don't know how I can put this. Somebody who did that much good, who talked and shared his faith so much, like made it his mission to spread his faith in Christ. That's the one? That's the one you go at? Of all of the other talking heads who have said far more worse stuff than Charlie Kirk ever said, like legitimately, you could take some things that some of these other people, like Candace, have said and call that hateful. I wouldn't give you too much pushback. But Charlie Kirk is the one you thought was spreading hate? It's like, okay, if they'll go at Charlie Kirk, nobody's safe. These leftists will take out anybody. Duke Tomlinson, Bronson, I'm still surprised Trump hasn't said anything about what Candace is doing to Erika / TPUSA. I think Trump has said something. He just didn't say it with his words. Do you guys remember the State of the Union? I think Trump is speaking loud and clear about his thoughts on Candace Owens. DDS Allen, $20 super chat. Thank you. There's no text in here. It just says number 1. So if you have anything you would like to say, feel free to say it in the chat and I will read it. You got about 2 minutes. Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Down in it. How long is this going to last? How long can she make this grift go? Man, she's going to keep doing it as long as she's getting the views. She'll keep spinning. She'll keep regurgitating stuff. She'll keep going back over. She'll throw in some, I mean, now she can run with this occult stuff for who knows how long. Like you can pretty much make a career out of that. And then you just randomly bring up Erika Kirk and Charlie and throw it into the mix. You keep going. I mean, just wait till the trial starts happening and we start getting, potentially, if a trial happens, okay? And we start getting to see some evidence. Like, you have no idea how, like, the amount of content that is going to be put out from these guys, twisting and manipulating, and like we're at the tip of the iceberg. This is going to get even more insane. Adrian Filtered with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Have fun tonight. Thanks for being a voice for us normal people. Well, we all have a voice. We all have a voice. I'm just talking in front of a camera and apparently pissing off people like Jacob because I'm a Freemason and he doesn't like that. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. 2 goats and a dog. How cool. I played clarinet for a minute in grade school. Have so much fun. These years with children are so fleeting. They fly by so fast. So fast. So I have 3. 2 of them are now 18. And my youngest is 11. The 18-year-old is currently stationed somewhere in the military. My other 18-year-old daughter is just living life, working. And my 11-year-old is about to play clarinet in a concert at school. When I was in high school, I played the saxophone, so I'm a little familiar with woodwind instruments. I started out on the alto saxophone, and then I moved to the tenor saxophone, and I finished my high school career playing the baritone saxophone. And then once I was done, I stopped playing saxophone altogether and tried to pick up guitar. So now I play guitar and really suck at it. Mama Owlbear, mine are 30, 25, 20, and 2. What? Is that what? Good for you. Good for you. CJB 34. Thank you to him for serving our country. I will be sure to let him know that you all approve of his decision to join the military. Army. He went Army infantry. So he's a grunt. Mama Owlbear adopted a 2-year-old. Oh, nice. 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 Good for you. Good for you. Lisa Longo. Cool about your kids. I played clarinet for a little bit too. My parents were so happy when I gave that up. What? DDS Allen. My daughter is 22 and I have one precious granddaughter about to be 1. I look forward to the day that I have grandchildren, and I hope it is in the distant future. Lisa Longo 72. I sucked. Yeah, but everybody in high school sucks at instruments. Tracy Benna 4150. Twins. No, they are children from previous relationships, each of us. And then we got together and raised them both together. Mona B, my son was Army Infantry too. He lost a leg to an IED in Afghanistan in 2012. Well, you tell that badass motherfucker we appreciate his service. DDS Allen. That's awesome. I was adopted at 4 weeks old, long time ago. I have 3 adopted siblings. Nice. Let's see. I want to pull that, see if I can find that again. Mona B, how is he? Like, how is he? Is he doing good mentally and stuff? Because I know that that's it's a really big problem in the military. And I can speak from somewhat personal experience. My significant other's sister she was in the Army for quite a while. She got out, came back home, and she ended up struggling and taking her own life, which is a terrible, terrible thing. And unfortunately, that's a problem we have with the military that I'm hoping somehow, some way gets fixed. Two goats and a dog. Very, very neat, Bronson. Chapped lips. We will absolutely be keeping your son in our prayers. Thank you for your sacrifice. It's all him. It's all his choice. I wasn't against it. In fact, I was pretty shocked and incredibly proud. Like, I don't know. It's tough to explain. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of a selfish thing, but as a parent, I think you want to see your children be better people than you are or were. And when they grow up and they've already got you beat at 18, it's like, sweet. This is great. Adri, vets deserve so much more than they're given. My boyfriend went to school with Matt Maupin. He's from the town I live in. Vets, yes, there's a whole lot of things I would like to say about that, and it would take much longer than a minute. But in my opinion, they don't. I don't know that they'll ever get what they deserve, but we can do better as a country. And did you guys see the people complaining because Hegseth like upped the budget and was feeding our men and women in uniform like good food? Did you see that? They were like complaining about it. There was a whole bunch of people running with that. Like, oh, because they need to eat steak and king crab. Like, yeah, they should be eating that every day. And I'd be totally okay with it. You're going to take my tax money anyway. The least you can do is use it for American citizens, especially ones that are serving. Are you kidding me? Yeah, feed them lobster and steak every day of the week. I mean, I don't know how good that would be for overall health, but you know what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they should be eating well. They should be eating very well for the sacrifices they're making. Are you kidding? These people suck. Adrian Filtered. Yes, I got so mad. Like, excuse them for risking their lives. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Katsarus, when our deployments got extended, we would get a steak dinner. Yeah, I heard anytime they're getting ready to deploy, it was like steak and lobster. Should be all the time. Gina Fey, it probably costs less than $1 a taxpayer. I'd pay $5. Let's go. What are we talking about? Feed them. Not to mention, like, I mean, not everybody, but that job is harder than most. You know what I mean? A lot of the people on the internet complaining about upping the budget a little bit to feed our soldiers wouldn't even be able to make it through basics. So, like, are you kidding? No, they definitely deserve that and so much more. Food stamp recipients eat better. I think that was one of the complaints is, they cut off SNAP benefits, but they can raise the funding to feed military better. Like, yes. Yes. Yep. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it there. I appreciate everybody coming to hang out. Try to do a little earlier one. I think I'm going to, I think I've got a schedule maybe that I'm going to pin down as far as live streams go. Just because I like making videos, but I really do enjoy going live. And viewer count, whatever. It is what it is. I don't care about that. But I think I'm going to pin a schedule down. And right now I'm tentatively thinking Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays at 4 p.m. It seems to work best with my entire life schedule that I have going on. So that's not set in stone yet or anything. It's something I'm just seriously considering. So I'm thinking I might do that. Just live stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I might throw an occasional Saturday, Sunday if I have nothing going on. Just depends on work and life. But so just a heads up for everybody watching. I appreciate everybody's super chat. What was his name? Jacob. I forgot. Jacob, if you're still here, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for spreading and sharing all of your wisdom with us. Although I think you are crazy and super wrong, it is your opinion, and you are welcome to your opinion. To everybody else, that's cool. It's been a pleasure. It's been my pleasure. And I can't wait to see you guys again in the very near future. I'm probably going to go live again tomorrow. We'll see. But as far as the schedule goes, I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So anyway, I got to go. I got to get going. Jacob Doctrine. Yes. Thanks, Jess. Jacob Doctrine. Yes. Everybody, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, including Jacob. And with that, we will catch you guys in the next one.